Welcome to Industrial PLC Applications Level 2. This is a review of timers and counters. This review will focus on delay timers. In our last video, we examined the TON timer that delays the turning on of an output. In this video, we are going to expand its capability by applying NOT logic, sort of a TON done backwards. After completing this video, you should be able to explain NOT logic as it pertains to a timer. Program a TON timer in Connected Component Workbench for use to control an output while the timer is timing. With many relays, there is more than a single set of contacts. Once energized, the magnetic coil pulls the armature in, and it changes the state of all the contacts under its influence. The relay shown has 4 normally closed contacts and 4 normally open contacts. This means that when the relay is energized, 8 contacts will close automatically, all changing their original state to its opposite state. This relay has 3 extension blocks added, which increases the number of contacts controlled by the armature. The advantage a PLC has is that the number of additional contacts that can be added is limited only by the PLC's memory. The TON instruction has only a single output, but the logical function of .Q, its output, can be reused anywhere in a program that requires it, and as often as required. But like any relay contact, the .Q has 2 addressable states, normally opened and normally closed, or Q and not Q. This means we can access the not Q and put it to work, but we need some assistance from another part of the TON instruction. Let's dig a little deeper into the working of the TON. Let's look in the local variables. So in this video, we're talking about using a TON timer in reverse. In other words, having something run while the timer's counting and then shut off once the timer's finished. And to do this, we're using NOT logic. In order to make it work properly, we need to add another component. So in our variable selector or local variables, either one will work. You'll notice we have a bunch of different variables, and we're looking for a TON. In this case, it's called TON example. So there's an arrow to its left. Anytime you see an arrow, that indicates that you can expand it to either look at more components or use it in a different method. So in this case here, we're going to open up our timer, and there's the .in that we're used to. There's the .pt, .q, and .et. All of those are completely the same. There's no change there. It's all good. There's 2 additional components, the .p date, which is the previous date, and also the .edg or the .reg, which is short for rising edge. So before, when they used to have the regular TON timers, they used to have a bit or a bool called TT, which was timer timing bit. That doesn't exist anymore, but they've replaced it with the .reg. So .reg becomes true once the timer is enabled, so the .in is running, and it continues as long as the .in is true and its timing, it will be true. If you complete the time delay, the Q is now set, the reg will still stay high. Once the in is dropped, Q gets dropped and reg gets dropped. We're going to use this rising edge. Now another term for rising edge is from false to true. So when the .in gets changes from false to true, it starts the timer. The second that happens, the .reg sees that it was a false to true transition, and it becomes true as well. Alright, so I've written two quick rungs of logic just to demonstrate what I'm referring to. So in this situation, when digital input 0 is true, it's going to start our TON. As long as that stays true, this will start to count. Once the 35 seconds has elapsed, Q will be set, and then this output will turn on. On the next rung, I'm using the not Q and the TON1 reg. Now, if I were to use write this logic without using the .reg, what would happen is anytime that the timer is not timing, this would be true and my output would be on, which is not really what we're after. We just want it to operate while the timer is counting. So I've got the simulator set up, and I'm going to start by this is input 0. I'm going to toggle input 0 and watch the output. So output 1 is on and we're still timing. As long as it continues to time, I have my reg and I have my not Q because it hasn't finished. When it gets up to the 35 seconds, it's going to flip-flop. This output should turn off because the Q will be done, therefore this will be false, and reg should stay on. 30 seconds. Okay, so now you can see that reg is still made because our input is true, and now our Q is finished, therefore the not Q is done, therefore the output turns off. So this gives you the opportunity, using the single timer, to actually look at controlling two outputs. And it might be that while something's warming up, like perhaps it's a process, so you want to start an oven up and you want a preheater to be running as it's starting to warm up. Once you've had 30 seconds of preheat, you can turn the preheat off and then the regular heat should take over. There's lots of applications for this, and it's simply a matter of using two parts on the same timer and then two different states of the same output. In part 3 of the TON, we will look into using variables to determine the time the TON times, the program time, the .pt. But first, let's continue looking at more instructions. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.